Hey everyone, how's it going? Just a bit of a quick video today. I had a spare half hour, so I just thought I'd compile just a bunch of fun chest traps that I've been playing around with quite a lot lately. It's been a while since I've done a chest traps video, so just thought it would be quite fun, and like I say, it only takes a few minutes to make. Like it if you really like it, subscribe. Anyway, chest traps, alright. Okay, so we're going to start with a trap known as the Cambridge Springs Trap. This is a trap within the Queens Gambit. So, for those of you who've seen my Queen's Gambit video will know it is D4, D5, and then he comes down for the Gambit, which is the C4. Now you can either accept it, which is when you take, or you can decline it, which I always recommend declining it, because a lot of Queen's Gambit players, they always kind of practice for the accepted, and they know all the fun little traps and stuff. They're quite easy to fall into if you're a newer player, so just push forward the E6, go for the declined. Now, most popular move for white is coming out with a C3, and then we can bring out our horsey to the F6 like so, and then he goes for the pin, because of course he does, everyone goes for the pin. Don't worry about that for now, just bring out your other horsey to the D7 and pair up the horsies. I'm always a big fan of pairing up the horsies like this. I think it's probably because when I initially started learning openings and stuff, I was always a London player, and it's just, I'm kind of used to this formation. Also, for black, I love playing the Carol, and I always kind of go for this as well. But yeah, I just like that additional safety. So he goes for the exchange like so, and then we know he's going to come down with the horsey. Kind of pair up his horsey and his bishop, and it looks like he's going to put us in a really uncomfortable position. But keep your eyes on the analysis bar, whop, whop, whop. Now, it looks like it's a funny move. What we're going to do is we're going to sacrifice our queen by capturing the horsey. And of course he's going to go ahead and take the queen. Why wouldn't he? There's a free queen there. But what he's done is allowed our bishop to come across, put him in check. This king can't go anywhere at all. The only thing he can block with is his queen. And we have a bit of a choice here. Now, we can go ahead and capture straight away. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'll just show you. You're in a fine position if you do. You know, you capture, do the exchange, then we can capture the bishop, and that's fine. What I'm going to recommend, though, is leaving this. I mean, he can't, you can't do anything about it. He's going to lose his queen anyway. Capture the bishop first, let him take yours, then jump up with the horsey, and then straight away we're now threatening this fork, which is brilliant. And from here, we really should win this endgame with such a dominating position. So this trap's known as the Noah's Ark Trap, and it is all about trying to capture white's light square bishop. As you probably know, white's light square bishop is normally one of its stronger pieces. Being able to get that off the board is always just absolutely fantastic. So this is based around the Ruy Lopez, and for the 100 people that watched my Ruy Lopez video, you'll all know what I'm talking about. Please watch that video, it's doing so bad right now. But yeah, anyway, let's have a little look at it. Ruy Lopez, we have the E4, E5 opening. They then come out with the horsey to the F3, attacking the pawn, and we keep it nice and safe with ours to the C6. It then comes down with the bishop to the B5. This is the bog standard Ruy Lopez, which you would know if you watched my video. But what we're going to do is push forwards the A6. He moves back, he wants to try and keep this pin on the go. And we get the D6 into play, just, trying to keep that pawn nice and safe there for if he does decide to go ahead and take. Well, he's going to try and smash open our centre like so, but we don't have to worry about that right now. We can push forwards the B5, threaten his bishop, get him to move back, and then from here, we can do the exchange. So, take with your horse, he takes back, we then take back like so. Now, what we want is for him to capture this pawn, because this pawn is ever so poisonous. He comes down with his queen and captures it, and oh my, look at that analysis bar there. And why is that? Well, we're going to do a series of absolutely fantastic forcing moves. So get the C5 into action, force him to move the queen, and what we're wanting is for him to go down like so, trying to pair these guys up and go for the checkmate. Well, we can then come across with our bishop, get him to move down to here, put us in check. We then come back with the bishop, he then goes back. Now, instead of going backwards and forwards and getting the stalemate, now we can then get the C4 into action, and that bishop is completely locked in place. Like I said at the start, the light square bishop is one of his stronger pieces. Being able to get that off the board in 11 moves is brilliant. There's nothing he can do about it. He can try and delay the inevitable, you know, bringing out his other bishop. All we have to do is just block it. If he does take, we take back, and we're in a completely dominating position now. We've got really good movement for our pieces. We've got one of his more important pieces off the board, and we should totally win from here. Just be aware, if he does come across and takes your bishop, don't go and capture with your queen, because, you know, that's gonna happen. Please be aware of that. Legal Trap's always one of my favourite ones because it has a queen sacrifice and you get a checkmate. So we start with the e4, e5 opening, horsey to the f3, they get theirs out to the c6, and instead of going for the Ruy Lopez, which you'd know if you watched my last video, we go for the c4, they go for the d6, and we then just bring out our other horsey in O action. Now this time they come across and they go for the cheeky little pin on us. We push forward the h3, get him to move back, like so, and from here, he has fallen straight into our trap, moo-ha-ha. We jump up, we capture the pawn, and sacrifice our queen. But from here, there is no coming back from black, because we can go for the check. His only move is the e7, we bring up the other horsey, and that's checkmate. Now, this is really interesting one called the Rubinstein Trap, and this is in the Queen's Gambit decline for white. Now, the plan of action here is using these three pieces to all team up against this c7 pawn. It doesn't have to be this exact move set, but this is the plan. These guys all going against this pawn here. So, Queen's Gambit declined, as we know before, is the d4, d5, c4, they decline it with something like the e6. And we just keep developing as normal, so we can just get out our horsey to the c3, they get theirs out to the f6, and we come across for the pin, because of course you do, and then they use the bishop to break the pin. And you're going to see these are all very, very kind of logical moves, and moves that you're going to see really often. So, you know, like pushing forward the e3, opening up the bishop like so, he goes for the castle, we get out our other horse, just keep developing as normal, he gets out his to somewhere like the d7, just teaming these guys up together, and then we can kind of break the tension here a little bit, so we can do the capture, and then captures back. It's now a bit safer for us to get our bishop out, so we develop it to here to the d3, and he brings across to the e8 is rook. Now, like I said, this pawn is our target, so getting our rook into action, so remember, we're trying to use these guys against it, and our plan from here would be bringing up the horsey to come across attack like so, or, you know, getting the bishop back and attacking it, but let's just say he sees what we're doing, he's starting to feel the pressure here, so he just pushes forward the c6. Very kind of logical move. We can just castle off, get to safety, and he decides, I don't want that bishop there anymore. Brings out the h6 and moves us back. Well, that works out okay for us, because remember, we're teaming these bad boys up together down this way. What might seem like a bit of a logical move is the horse coming across to the h5, attacking the bishop like so. But this actually allows us to start our trap, because we can now grab this pawn with our horsey. Now, if he decides to take the horsey first, we come across and we've now just grabbed the queen. Nothing he can do about it. He takes, we take, and we are in such a dominating position from there. If he sees that, which more than likely he's probably going to, he'll just capture the bishop and then we can capture back. But we've now managed to capture a very key pawn. It's one of his centre pawns. We now have full centre control. And while it might not be as sexy and flashy as the other trap, I mean it is if you manage to grab the queen, it's a key pawn which is gone. We're a lot more developed, and we're in a really, really good position from here. Again, it doesn't have to be this exact moveset. There is so many ways that you can end up in a very similar kind of position, but it's always the same basic ideas. Pairing up, you're the horsey, the rook, and the bishop down towards this c7. That's the main kind of plan of attack. Last one we're going to look at is the Siberian Trap. This is a trap for black in the Sicilian. The Sicilian is an e4, c5 opening. Now, for this, what we're hoping is that they're going for the Smith-Morra Gambit, which is something you see quite often. That's when they push forward the d4, we capture, c3, capture, and then the horsey goes and captures back. This is a Smith-Morra Gambit. Very, very common gambit. And from here, we just play normal developmental moves. you know, get the horses out like so. We push forward the e6, just opening up our bishop a little bit there. They get the bishop out, just to get it on a bit more of an active square, and just allow him to go off and castle if he needs to. And we start getting our queen into play on the c7. Very common move that you're going to see. Main idea is that we're staring down on this king side here for when he goes and castles. This pawn here is going to be our kind of main target. We can just keep developing, get our other horsey out. We're going to be looking at bringing it across like that, and then pairing it up with the queen. And something that you see very often is the queen coming to the e2. We carry on with our plans, bringing up the horsey to the g4, and like I say, pairing these bad boys up together. And something you're going to see very often is him pushing forward the h3 pawn. And it looks like a common sense move. He has the horsey here kind of defending the pawn. So he's got, you know, he's got the extra layer of defense. He can afford to just open up a little bit to try and kick us out. But it's a huge, huge blunder, because we can then bring across our other horsey to the d4 like so. And there is very little that black can do right in this position. Now, as you can see, we're threatening this, and we're also threatening his queen. So let's just say he moves his queen out of the way, get it to safety. Well, we can then just come across, capture the horsey like so. He's very limited in what he can do now, and checkmate is unavoidable. If he takes with the queen, we go for the checkmate. If he takes with the pawn, then we're going to checkmate. Coming back, obviously, if he decides instead to capture the horsey, then we're just going to take his queen. But yeah, you can see from this position, it is just completely losing for white. Really common trap in the Sicilian, and it's one that everyone should really know. Right, that is all I've actually got time for. I have a bunch of stuff to do today, but I hope that was helpful. While I've been playing around with YouTube shorts and stuff, I just thought it'd be fun to just compile a bunch of the traps together, pop it in a vid, and just put it out there, because it's been a while since I've made a traps video, and I really do enjoy them. If there's anything you want to say, put it in the comments. If you like it, please like it. If you really like it, please subscribe. We're nearly at 600, and that would be nice, wouldn't it? But right, you dudes, go off, have some fun, play some chess, and I'll catch you guys later.